I came to bury
Cursed spite that ever I was born to set it.
Shall I compare thee to a summer's day?
This is the excellent foppery of the world.
I don't think there's a role that I wouldn't like to tackle at some point. It's just it's a question of time. The other thing is that they're so enjoyable on second reading. There's lots I'd love to do again and again and again. Because the more you know the text, the more something new is revealed to you. I like to do something that a lot of acting teachers and directors beg you not to do, which is I like to get off book very, very early. Which means that a lot of the parsing work and a lot of the work that you'll do with the lexicon and stuff, you have to do almost even before you go to rehearsal. But it's just to have the relationship to the language in a physical way where you're responding to the other people as early as possible is really, really important, because on the average now, you know, with a commercial production, you're looking at a 5 to 6 week rehearsal period, which is not a lot of time to get everybody up on their feet and moving and thinking and thinking faster, which is sort of what Shakespeare demands, you know. The most difficult and the most enjoyable was Iago. It's just so much fun. I don't know any other way to describe it. It's just such, it's not about being evil, which I think is what people often mistake is the pleasure of playing that role. It's about the lucidity and the manipulation of ideas and logic and reality and the power. He's after this sense of feeling empowered. For me, that was my interpretation of it, and that Shakespeare sort of amply provides you with the next platform, the next plateau, the next level. And so Iago gets more and more and more and more and more and more turned on by this experience of power until the end, when it's all pop. This is the tragedy of playing Hamlet, is that very often you're the right age before you're ready for the play. The bigger tragedy of playing Hamlet is that you can't possibly play Hamlet because the entire audience is Hamlet, so they know you're full of shit. They connect so intimately with that character almost from the start. His rage and his vulnerability is so infectious that I think people sort of right on go, oh, this guy can't possibly understand the depth of this like I can, which is great. It's a sign of a great play. I've always enjoyed direct address, and I think most of that came from when I got into college. I became really interested in Brecht, and I studied a lot of Brecht, and the concept of Verfremdung or alienation and how it relates to direct address really, really goes for me hand in hand with playing Shakespeare and soliloquy. And the funny thing is, it says serve me on so many levels. At first, I think it's a very compelling relationship with an audience, because it part of what it says is, I'm not denying the fact that I'm an actor. To me, this is what it says, is that I'm not denying the fact that I'm an actor. I am who I am right now, but that doesn't make what I'm saying any less compelling. And can you relate to it? You know, as me as the character, me as the actor, you as the audience, all of those things. Can you encompass all of those things in this moment? And I think that's a very profound relationship to have to a play and to an audience. Another thing is that it's a wonderful way to, I haven't figured out the polite way to talk about this, but it's a wonderful way to control an audience. It's a wonderful way to guide an audience, to direct an audience through, for instance, a particularly a dense piece of text or verse. And how you use your eyes and how you reveal the pieces of the speech to them says a lot about the content of the speech as well. So, for instance, when you're playing in a space like the Delacorte, and you're in an open air environment, and there's helicopters, and there's, you know, police cars, and and birds and things flying around and moon and stars and all those wonderful things, it's very important, because you're relatively small to the people all the way in the back, it's very important how you hold their attention. And obviously projection is what a lot of people think is the main solution. But I found that what's even more effective is getting into a relationship to them with your eyes. In other words, if you can catch that person in the back row of the theater and say, look down here because I have something to say to you, which is in direct relationship to that person over there, what you've done is you've made them a unit. This one is related to that one, and they're all related to what's happening on the stage in you. It's provocative to be looked at by an actor, let's face it. It's provocative. It's like, what are you looking at me for? And a lot of people don't want to cross that threshold of, no, this is not the, I'm not going to volunteer and come up on stage or anything. Let's not get into any of that. It's a provocative relationship that I think excites people and scares them a little bit. And it does the same thing to the actor, and I think that's mutually beneficial. When I first started acting, I got terrible stage fright, and it was fantastic. It was an incredible source of energy and humanity that it lent the characters that I played. And as I started to do it more and more, I got less and less afraid, and more relaxed, and less of an engine for energy and immediate experience of human behavior, which in that case was fear, which I could channel into something else, or some anxiety that I could channel into something else. And I value that very much. So for me, I think it is unsettling to be addressed by someone on stage who is acting. And I think that that's of value to both the person in the audience and to me as the actor. The fact that I become unsettled by it creates a cauldron of emotion in me that is useful in the delivery of the speech. The fact that they've become unsettled by me looking at them creates an immediacy to our relationship and makes them more present in the moment of the play.